Hello and welcome back to Wargaming with me, Gary. And yes, you would have noticed I haven't produced any videos for the last couple of weeks, and that's just because of how busy I've been. So I'm not going to make up any excuses. Yeah, we all have lives outside of wargaming, unfortunately, sometimes, and families, of course, and work. And I've been very busy at work for the last week, which is a bit of a shame, because in the last video, last group of videos, I said I seem to have found the best way for me to produce videos was to knock out a whole load at a weekend. Excuse me, I've just had breakfast. Not well. If that's how that's going to work, that needs I need to be reliable and consistent. So to produce those videos at the weekend. Now, after what happened last weekend, everything was fine. I mean, we smashing time and some hard work, but it did kind of open up a problem, an issue of there's a possibility I'm not always going to be able to do it at a weekend, which means I'm going to drift away, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to have to look into other ways of making sure I get time to do the videoing, whilst at the same time, like, time to do the painting. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'll have to work on it, and we'll see how that works out. But having mentioned squeezing time in between the videoing and the painting, because I wasn't videoing, I've been able to do a little bit of painting, and I thought I'd show you what I've been doing. So I'm just going to let me just put this onto the figures I've been doing, right, and then I'll just zoom in, bear with me. Oh, that's out. Okay, let me put my glasses on, see what that looks like. Okay, so there's 6 Assyrians that I've recently painted. I do mine in groups of 6. Can I go in just a little bit more? Come out. I think that's okay. Yeah, okay. Now I've put this guy at the back because I was fiddling about earlier and I've broken the spear off. So I'm going to have to reattach that. But he is one of the 6 that I did. So I'm putting him out of the way so that I can fix him in a minute. Now, these guys are all going, they're going to be, and I think I spoke about this before, these are the first figures that will be representing the Shamash Corps from Dar Shashukin, which is in northern Iraq, which is now northern Iraq. And these are all, and I think we covered it in the last time. These are the Kisir Sharuti. Sorry, let me say that again. I'm still trying to get my mind around the pronunciations of these troops. But these are the Kisir Sharuti, and they are now. I think in the last video I mentioned these. I might have inferred that they were basic spearmen or infantrymen. They're not. I mean they are the basic troop types, but it's everything. It's the so that they have their own infantry spearmen, like you can see here. They have their own archers, slingers, charioteers, and cavalry. Later on in a later period, they also have their own cavalry. So as you can see, that's a little bit different from what I was suggesting in the last time. That the spearmen were the Kisir Sharuti, and I didn't really mention about the archers and the slingers and the rest. So the basic army, and it was a professional army. The basic army were all, no matter what weapon you used or how you went into battle, they were all Kisir Sharuti or Sharati. So I just thought I'd clear that up. Also, and I'm going to do 3 regiments of these, 24 in a regiment. and these will all be from the Shamash Corps from the Sharkukin. Okay, so I've mentioned I'm going over that because I just want to. No, for my, it's not so much for you. It's more for my brain to get my brain around it, so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so and also I'm going to do a guard unit for each corps, and the guard unit are this is it's the Karabuti, and the same as the Kisar Sharati, they have their own spearmen. They have their own archers, they have their own slingers, they have their own cavalry, and they have their own charioteers. So the guard troops of that corps are kind of like a little army within the army, or a little corps within that corps. So that's going over a little bit of the military makeup of the ancient Assyrians. Now these are of a slightly later period, probably between 700 BC and 600 BC. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe in the 800s just. But what I want to do is I want to just show you what I've painted. So as you can see at the moment, there's the shield. So I'm going to bring it in just for one figure. Let me just come in a little bit. Try and get that guy in the middle. It's difficult. Right, so, and if I turn them, let's see, if I just turn them, now that works. Okay. Alright. Now, I've decided that these, so there's 6 of these guys, and they will all be officers of the main bulk of the army, or the main corps. And I'll go for it. I'll set those up later. I won't cover that now. I just wanted to show you why I've decided they're going to be officers. So this chap here. Oh, actually, you can see. Let me get my pointing stick. You'll do. So you can see here, just there, he's got like a tasselled ribbon what runs around from his shoulder to his waist. Now all the other figures from Black Tree Miniatures don't have that, so it kind of stands out. It's separate from everything else. So I thought they would be a really good figure to use for the officers. Now what I've also done, and it's not, to be fair, it's not my best work, possibly because I didn't listen to what I was told by Little Big Man Miniatures. Let me just see if I can, where is this guy? Yeah, right. Now, this guy at the end here, I've put a transfer on, as you can see, or a decal. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can have a look. That's out. Right there. Don't know how that's showing up. A little bit more. There we are. And I'll put my hand behind it. See if that brings the focus in. Oh, I don't know if it has. Maybe I've gone in too much. Right, that's better. That's better. Right. Now, ignoring the advice I was given to paint the shields white and then put the decals on, I painted shield orange and put the decal on top of that. And as you can see, the fantastic detail of the transfer hasn't really come out. And this was going to be one of the officers. So this will still be an officer. I'm not going to change anything, but I will in future remember that what I will do is I'll paint the shield white and put a decal on, then paint the shield orange around the outside, so that the detail of the transfer shows up nicely. But other than that, I'm very pleased with the colour orange. I'm glad I went with that colour. Now historically, there's no mention of people wearing orange. Ancient Assyria. There is mention of red, blue and green, but I've chosen orange because because I like the colour, but also because it goes quite nicely with the sun god, which is the Shamash god, the god of the sun and also of justice. And I thought that when I read that, I just thought of orange, so I thought that would be a good representation. There will be plenty of time for me to do the other cores in red, blue and green, along with other colours as well. So and I'm purposely doing I'm purposely making sure that there are distinct different colours, because these are also one of the things the ancient Assyrians appeared to be very good at was having civil wars, so they can fight each other, and that will look good on the tabletop, I think, you know, like the clear differences. So yeah, also when I'm doing my campaigns, I've got some orange counters, so they'll be able to represent the different troops and where they're going. So that's that. So let's look at the soldiers or the figures in a bit more detail. So if I turn this slowly round, you can see he's got iron armour, he's got a tassel. I've done the Assyrian tassels down here, the Assyrian trim. Now all of my figures, and I think I've said this before, all my ancient Assyrians will have red and white. Babylonians and Chaldeans will have a different colour. I haven't decided what yet, but the ancient Assyrians will all have red and white. You can see I've done the trousers, the pantaloons, and I've tried to make them multicoloured. So that's light green and a red stripe goes all the way around it. My skill at painting, which I'm still developing, isn't good enough yet for me to put triangles and whatnot in there. I did have a go, but they didn't come out very well. So yeah, you can see I've the boots I've done the boots. That I'm very pleased with that. The tunic in orange. Now the tunic, you can see, is a different orange, so it's a much lighter orange from the shield, and I've done that on purpose. I thought that would look nice, and I think it does look nice. I've done the boots. I've also done the base, and I've done what I've done is I did a sandy colour was the base colour, and then I did quite a dark brown wash, and then I did a lot of dry brushing, and I think that's come out rather nice. I think the camera is, it might be because of my hand. I've noticed, yeah, if I put my hand in the way, it does make it look a bit more orangey, so I'll have to try and work around that. And I'm also on every 6 figures I put a tuft of grass, little tuft of grass. So that's them 6 ancient Assyrians. Now, and I've not long finished them. Only finished them a little while ago. But what I also wanted to do was show you some of the figures that I did paint some time ago. Now, I would say that the quality is not as good as the ones I'm doing at the moment, purely because I think every batch of figure I'm doing is getting better. So let me just move these Assyrians out of the way. Okay, and bring in some Persians. Whoops. Just see, here we are. Now what I'll do is I will zoom out. You can have a nice look at those right now, as you can see, and I'll just change that a little bit. Now these I painted a little while ago, but my aim for this group of videos is to show you all of these in their glory, so that it brings me up to date. Okay, does that need to go down a little bit? Alright. So if I zoom in, and then what I can do is I can go along the line so that you can see. Now, although these are Persians, yeah, that'll do. Okay, and I'll go along from there's the beginning, right? So there's the first one, right, and the different patterns all the way along. Now, what I've done historically is not correct. the patterns that I've used on these figures. Now, first off, I'm saying I'm using as Persians, and I probably will. They will be Persian tribesmen, very early tribesmen. But as you can see, the patterns are very much from the 5th and 4th century Persians, so probably more more commonly seen when fighting the Greco-Persian wars. So like Marathon and Plataea and that type of thing. But I'm not going to change it because we have no proof. This is a funny way of doing it, but we have no proof that the Persians didn't dress like this, in the hills, and I think they look quite nice, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to stick with it because I've put so much time and effort into it. The other thing you will see that the shields are also, if I just turn that slightly now, right, you can see that they're more of the later period, around 600 BC or 600 BC. And a bit, and then later than that, so 600 and 500 BC. But again, I think they look really nice, and again, we have no proof that the hillsmen up in around Persia didn't paint their shields pretty colours. So I'm going to leave them as they are. I think they look really nice, and that's what I'm going to do. Historically, so if anyone's going to write leave a message saying historically that's not correct, I agree. It's not correct, but it does look nice, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So that's my first, what should I call these, painted. I will number them as painted videos. So, and what I want to do is I want to go through all the Persians that I've finished to get myself up to date. So I'm going to stop there, and I'll speak to you again in a few moments.